The Witcher. This is the lowest rated episode on IMDb so far in any season of the show. It's the lowest rated since the last episode was the new low, and it will be the lowest until the next episode gets reviewed. Up until season 3, there was never an episode that got rated below a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. In season 3, no episode rates above a 7, and episode 7 got a 4.1. So how did the makers manage this disaster? Well, for a start, The Witcher is barely in the show The Witcher again, and that never helps. And the female viewers have been pretty clear they'd quite like more scenes like this, okay? How do you mess this up? People watch The Witcher primarily for The Witcher. Big shock, I know, but the showrunners keep on coming back and saying, how about instead we show you some feminism? How about some LGBT acceptance? We're coming for your children and all that. How about some body positivity? How about we change your perceptions of female beauty? How about we hollow out The Witcher and use it as a vessel for our politics? No thanks. I mostly came here for The Witcher and entertainment, and now I'm mostly sticking around to laugh at you and witness the inevitable and much deserved cancellation of your show. We open up and Yennefer is with the other mages at Aretuza planning a party. So in both plots, books and series, Ciri ran away from Yennefer and the Magic Academy at Aretuza, with just the slight cosmetic differences that in the books, Ciri ran away because she starts to see Aretuza as somewhere that will trap her and make her into someone that she doesn't want to be. And she, much like the audience, wants to see Geralt. Whereas in the series, she now runs away because she's angry when a sassy large lady asked her to get wine. Also in the books, a worried Yennefer immediately raced after her to save her, whereas in the series, she didn't bother and planned a dance party instead. You know, just minor cosmetic differences. Just last episode, the show was talking about how Yennefer is supposed to be just like Ciri's mother, and oh boy, does she not act like it at all. How does this even get written? How do you write a character that's supposedly like a surrogate mother to Ciri, protects her as they travel across an entire continent, then Ciri runs away and is in mortal danger, and instead of going after her, Yennefer plans a party? This is so wildly out of character, I'm just confused. Did the writers not even think about what they were doing? Don't forget, Series 3 is supposed to be more book accurate. This is them trying to be more book accurate. And on the subject of the sassy large lady Margarita, technically in the books it doesn't directly describe her race. All it says is that she's statuesque, tall and fair-haired, and wore a green dress with a plunging neckline. So if Netflix had put Jessica Lucas in a blonde wig, I may have given them a pass. I may have said, F it, close enough. And if they would have had the scene of her emerging from a bath naked, I may have clapped. Can we fit that into the show somewhere? Please? But seriously, Netflix should probably stick with being true to the games instead of the books, at least in terms of aesthetics. In the books, Triss may be described as having auburn hair instead of red, but she is solidified in, I think, most people's minds now as looking like this. And sweet mother of mercy, you ladies are getting out of hand. That is a fine effort, she looks good, no? But would it give you pause to learn that Cosplay Lady is in fact Russian? And as I learned from Marvel's Secret Invasion, Russians have giant tentacle arms. But this is what I get when I type Triss cosplay into Google. Thousands of images of women dressing as this character, who all presumably like her, and all of them are Triss from the games. None of them has auburn hair like the books, and nobody is dressing up as Triss from the series. It's become an iconic look. If a woman dresses like that, people are going to recognise the character. Do you get it? These are probably the die-hard lovers of the IP that you're adapting really badly. This is how they see the character, and this is what they were expecting from your show. And you know the damn of it, I haven't been able to find a cost for Season 3 of The Witcher, but the first 2 seasons cost them a reported $319 million to make. $319 million, and they lose out to women doing cosplay every single time. And the worst part is that the game, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, only cost a reported $81 million to make, and that was a smash hit. They made a whole game, considered by many to be a masterpiece, for a fraction of the cost of this series. Game of Thrones Season 1 supposedly only cost $60 million. Where has the money gone on this show? Yennefer is now back at Aretusa organising a meeting that will become the Thanad coup, which is another change from the books where it was instead planned by Vilgefortz. Almost all of the scenes in this episode do not seem to be anywhere in the books. There are a load more Yennefer scenes written into the show that I can find nowhere in the books, which ordinarily I would like because in the source material I loved Yennefer's character. She's probably my favourite character in the IP. Sadly, what I'm watching does not appear to be Yennefer, and this is explained somewhat by this article. The Witcher boss talks season 1 regrets, future spin-offs and putting her stamp on the franchise. It says, as one of the few female showrunners in the fantasy space, Hissrich is paving the way for more well-rounded female perspectives in a male-dominated genre. What I've heard from a lot of women, and the thing that I feel myself, is that I can find myself in this show, she said. As a woman, and as a person who loves fantasy, I often couldn't find myself in other fantasy shows. I didn't see a person that represented me, and how I walked through the world and how I saw the world. And are you kidding me? Who's supposed to be you in this story, Lauren Hissrich? Who is the person that supposedly represents you? Yennefer? It's Yennefer, isn't it? That's why she keeps on getting more scenes written in for her. You realise she's not supposed to be like you. In the source material, she's a near 100-year-old mage. She's enigmatic, complex and dangerous. Or she was supposed to be. And that's who I watched the show to see. She's not supposed to act like a showrunner from California. This is a problem. Before you go busting through a glass ceiling, you may want to make sure it isn't the roof. Are you seriously telling me you knackered the entire story of this multi-million-dollar show and IP because you couldn't stand it without you being in it? There are levels of narcissism here I can't even comprehend.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman.
This story is literal perfection. It will be when I'm in it. You know what I never thought watching Indiana Jones as a kid? He'd be great if only he were more like me. No, it was quite the opposite. I wanted to be more like him. That is what heroes should do. Make people aspire to be better. Teach the audience lessons. It shouldn't be wanting to see yourself like you're gazing admiringly into a mirror. I mean, this is proper old school narcissism, like Narcissus falling in love with his own reflection in a pool of water, except maybe worse. It's like he also started to improve the trees around him by carving an effigy of his own face into each of the trunks. And Yennefer organising the conclave makes the story worse because of what happens during the conclave. It makes more sense if Vilgefortz planned the conclave as he did in the books and has prior knowledge because of what he does during it. It now looks like nobody planned anything, but I'll get to that in episode 5. And can they not get Yennefer a better outfit? Maybe something more like in the games would win the fans over a bit, make her look the part, give me something. Incidentally, this was this woman's Halloween costume. Her Halloween costume did a better job of getting the visuals of the character correct than your $200 million a series show. And all of that was before the title screen even came up. Then of course they had the all-important invitations to the party being sent out scene. They couldn't miss the detail of the party invites being sent out, could they? Which doesn't even seem to be in the books. Yennefer then talks to Tissaia and Vilgefortz about their relationship, which also doesn't seem to be in the books, either the conversation or in fact their whole relationship. That part isn't so bad though, it kind of adds sting to his betrayal of his comrades later. They could have maybe made that interesting, they just didn't. Then Yennefer goes to Redania by portal to attend the funeral of Queen Hedwig and invite Philippa Eilhart to the conclave party, and on the way back her portal gets diverted and someone tries to assassinate her while pretending to be Geralt. None of this seems to be in the books, where Philippa was always going to go to the party because of what she plans to do there, and the funeral didn't happen because Hedwig was still alive. So Yennefer has organised a party, sent out the invitations, gone off to a funeral to invite someone to the party, and in the show hasn't noticed that her adopted daughter, who she's apparently like a mother to, has been gone for how long? Well, Geralt and Ciri are going to have to take a ship back from where they are, because if they go overland, we're told, it will take a solid 2 days of travel.
Then we go around the Gulf.
It'll add 2 days to our journey.
So Yennefer has been organising a party for at least 2 days while her daughter was missing, and as far as the show is concerned, showed no outward signs whatsoever that she even noticed she was gone. How does her adopted daughter go missing for several days without her noticing or looking for her? I really hope Lauren Hissrich is not seeing herself in this character. She's got 2 sons, God help them. And when Yennefer finally sees her adopted daughter, I have no idea how many days later, the first thing she says is,
So the intrepid explorers have arrived. You look like you had quite the adventure. You stink.
That's the review part over. Now I thought I'd open up my mailbox to respond to some of the YouTube viewers like this one. Ha ha ha, okay, the casting is a little off from the books, but they need to adapt it for a modern audience. A little off? And does it need to be adapted for a modern audience? I don't know where this modern audience is, because from the viewing figures it appears not only have they not shown up, it appears half of the audience has stopped watching.
Fuck. Jesus.
A dwarf.